So I would like to introduce you a great teacher who is going to deliver Dhamma talk. So he is most venerable Thalpavila Kusalagnana Mahathera, a highly educated Buddhist scholar. He obtained his master degree from Germany and Sri Lanka and completed his primary and secondary studies in Sri Lanka. Also, he has a Royal Pandit degree in Sri Lanka. Venerable is one of the lecturers in Hamburg University, Germany, and Vice Principal of Maharagama Sirivajilayana Dharmayatana Pirivena. Today I am here to welcome him on behalf of Most Venerable Maharagama Dhammasri Nayakathera and our devotees. So I would like to invite Most Venerable Thalpavila Kusalagnana Thera to start his Dhamma talk. Please say sadhu.
Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhammam Muni Rajassa Sunantu Sakya Mukhadam Dhammas Savana Kalu Ayam Bhadanta Dhammas Savana Kalu Ayam Bhadanta Dhammas Savana Kalu Ayam Bhadanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Saddhindriyam Virindriyam Satindriyam Samadhindriyam Panyindriyam Dear friends in the Dhamma, dear devotees of Washington Buddhist Vihara and worldwide, today, in this auspicious moment, I'm going to explain you about the 5 faculties of a Buddhist. These faculties in Pali language are called Indriya Dhamma. These are the essential facts that one needs in order to go on the Noble Eightfold Path and achieve the progress of one's path and finally to attain Nibbana. As you all know, to attain Nibbana is not an easy task. It is also not so difficult as the people think. So many people are afraid of stepping onto the path as they think it can mislead one to be mentally retarded or to face difficulties in family life, to get problems in social life, and so on. But there were and there are the disciples of the Buddha who lead a good, happy family life, as well as who go on the path properly. When one gets into the path and when one learns the true teaching of the Buddha, the difficulties of the life, the problems of the life go away slowly. It is those who has incorrectly learned the teaching of the Buddha and who has mixed up his own visions, his own thoughts with the teachings of the Buddha, and who tries to interpret the teaching of the Buddha in their own way, as they think which is correct. Such people face problems in the life. We see some depressed people who pretend to practice the teaching of the Buddha and show to the world that they are Buddhists, they are true Buddhists, they are the ones who practice the teaching of the Buddha in the real way. We can see such people in the path. Today I met such a person who came to me and explained that he is in the real path. He meditates. He has learned some portions of the teaching of the Buddha, and now he has made his own way to practice the teaching of the Buddha. And he tells us that is the true path, that is the real path. But some essential parts of the path are gone away from him. He doesn't practice some essential teachings of the Buddha. For example, I can say the Westerners, they like to meditate very well. They begin the meditation before they practice giving, before they practice morality, sila, dana, sila, bhavana. So first one needs to be generous in order to be a moral person. Then one can obtain the 5 precepts and keep them. Then only one is suitable for meditation. Meditation without taming the body and the words is misleading. Such people sometimes get depression, anxiety, and some other mental problems. Not all, some people. Therefore, if one learns the proper path, then one needs to practice generosity first, then morality, then mental exercises, psychological exercises, practice meditation. This is how it has to go. It is just like the sea. The sea doesn't deepen in the beginning from the coast. At the coast it is not deep. But when one gets into the sea gradually, then it deepens. How deep it is unexplainable. The teaching of the Buddha is also the same. One has to begin from the easy steps. Then one can practice it intensively. Just as you have observed the 8 precepts today, you don't practice high precepts in day-to-day life. But today, you do something special. You have observed 8 precepts and you try to practice it. Try to protect the precepts. Today you are away from some of the activities that you do in day-to-day life. Especially today you don't eat in the evening. You don't listen to the music. You don't watch teledramas, films and so on today. And today you are away from using perfumes and so on, necklaces, the other things that one can be decorated with, can be more beautiful with. So you are away from these kinds of things today as you have observed 3 more precepts extra. So this is the practice. So you say to the comforts, no. Karma. So you are away from karma today. You try to tame your organs today. You try to be more moral people today, which allows you and which gives you more time for your practice. So you are a moral person. Then you are very suitable for meditation. You are suitable for practicing samatha, concentration meditation, and vipassana, insight meditation. So, the people like you must not be afraid to practice meditation. Another thing that you must not forget is to have a good meditation master. It is also very important. Such ones are called Kalyana Mitta in noble teaching. Kalyana Mitta, noble friends. Noble friends are the ones who are higher than us in 4 qualities: Saddha, faith; Sila, morality; Chaga, generosity; Panya, wisdom. When someone is higher than us in these 4 qualities, only such a person called Kalyana Mitta, a noble friend. The other ones are not. So we can consider, we can recheck ourselves if we are Kalyana Mittas to others. Are we higher than in these qualities from our own friends? When we need to associate a Kalyana Mitta, we need to find a person who is higher in these 4 faculties, 4 qualities than us. Especially in the case of meditation, there are uncountable misconceptions, misleading theories, misleading schools. There is no subject that is so misleading than meditation in Buddhism. In Buddhism, it is not misleading, the meditation, but when it comes to the practice, the people, the masters, they are teaching us the meditation in many different ways. So the practitioner is confused to select the correct path, to choose the correct path. They are confused. I have seen many people that have gone to different kinds of teachers and they come back and complain, I have done so and so, I have learned so and so, I have heard so and so, but now I am in this kind of situation, this kind of problem. What shall we do? The main problem is the laymen like you, mostly they do not read the exact, direct discourses of the Buddha. This is the main weakness of our lay practitioners. They listen from the Buddhist monks or from other Buddhist lay teachers, Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha, but they do not compare it, they do not tally it with the text, with the context, with the discourses. They do not compare it. For example, if you need to know about loving kindness meditation, you have to refer to Karaniya Metta Sutta. There it is explained very well. If you need to learn about breathing meditation, then you need to refer to either Anapanasati Sutta or Girimananda Sutta, where Anapanasati Bhavana, breathing meditation, is explained. Even in Satipatthana Sutta, breathing meditation is explained. So you have to read these discourses. Then only you can know whether the things that I have learned or you have learned from your own master are correct, are according to the true teaching of the Buddha or not. Then only you can know. Otherwise, how can you know it? So many questions that arise in today's world are properly answered in discourses. You have to learn them. Even Abhidhamma, the deep teaching of the Buddha, you have to try to learn it. Some people say, Abhidhamma is not for us. The deep teaching is not for us. Then for whom? You are a human being who has a mind that can be developed, that can be used. With your own mind, you can take the result of being born a human being. Who has told you that you can't develop your mind? You can do it. You can do it. You have to learn the proper path, learn the proper way, real way, correct way. Then you can do it. The people that interpret the teaching of the Buddha are interpreting it with their own knowledge, with their own experiences. They do it as they can do it. For example, I explain you the 5 faculties, how I can do it, using my own experiences, using my own knowledge, using my own words. But can I say that what I am telling is correct? What I am telling is according to the teaching of the Buddha? How can I prove it? How can I say that what I am telling is the true thing? Such people were even in the time of the Buddha. They have said, idameva satcham, this is only the truth. Moghamanyam, all other things are not true. Or all other things are empty. What the others say. There were such people who had such ideas. So even today, I can tell you what I am telling is the truth. But how can I say such a thing? I can't say so. All the other masters are the same. They can't say that what they are explaining is 100% correct. So what you can do is, you have to go to the discourses, the suttas. In Sutta Pitaka, everything is explained. Everything is explained. So I invite you to begin the reading. To begin the reading. There are good English translations, good Sinhalese translations, and even you can read the Pali text. It is not so difficult as you think. Pali has so many similarities to Sinhalese language. So you can read Pali. You can learn Pali within a couple of weeks or months. It is not so hard. It would be the easiest language that you would learn in your life, because so many similarities are there. Many words that we are using in our Sinhalese language today are from Pali and Sanskrit. Or I can even say our own Hela language later has been mixed up with Pali and Sanskrit and the other languages like Portuguese and so on, English. Then we have the current Sinhalese language, mixed Sinhalese language. So the people who can speak Sinhala can easily learn Pali language, the language of the Buddha. Then you can use this knowledge in learning the teaching of the Buddha. So please begin the learning. When you face any kinds of problems, difficulties, unclear points in the learning, then you can go to a learned master and ask them or discuss with them, I have read such a thing, but I can't understand it properly. Or there are some parts that I can't agree with. So how can I solve this problem? So you can ask the masters and you can learn it properly in the correct way. So even in meditating, so when you meditate, you can experience certain kinds of things. For example, people come to us and say, I feel like floating, I feel like levitating, I feel like that I am within the, I am in the sky. And some people say, I see a light. Some people say, I heard a voice from outer world, like this. So they come to us and they explain their own either experiences or what they think or what they have created in their own minds. So we have to have the ability of knowing whether they are their own experiences or whether they are just fictions. So in that case also, we go to the teaching of the Buddha and compare it. So we check whether such experience are explained and what is the mental status of such a person. Sometimes they have taken the meditation in the wrong way. Sometimes. Some experiences that people explain us are not in the correct teaching. Therefore, step by step in your own meditation, you have discussed with your own master. You must have a meditation master. You can't develop it until you get concentration without a master. You can do it. Fortunately you are in the correct path. If unfortunately you are not in the correct path, what happens? Then mentally you are in another state. You are not normal. So you have to understand this. You have to understand this. This is not a simple thing. Therefore, we need to practice meditation definitely, but we must know the obligations, what we need to have, what we need to avoid, what kind of knowledge we must have, with whom we need to discuss, and so on. So we must have firstly a good master, a good teacher, Kalyana Mitra. If we don't have such a person, or even when we have such a person, we always need to tally his or her teachings or explanations with direct discourses. So now, let's turn into the point. 5 faculties. Indriya. Saddha Indriya, the first one. The faculty of faith. Virya Indriya. The faculty of effort. Sati Indriya. The faculty of mindfulness. Samadhi Indriya. The faculty of concentration. Panya Indriya. The faculty of wisdom. Saddha Indriya. What is the faculty of faith? I don't know whether the term faith is the correct translation for Saddha. I can explain you how Saddha is interpreted. Then you can get your own, you can choose your own word for Saddha. Traditionally it is translated as faith, but I am sure in Buddhism there is no huge place for the faith. So what is Saddha? When one knows the true qualities of the Buddha, the true qualities of the teaching, the true qualities of the order or the Sangha, it is called Saddha. Saddha has the duty of clearing the mind and pleasing the mind. So when you are clear, when you have no doubt about your own great master, Buddha, about the path and about the order, Sangha, the noble disciples, when you are clear, when you have no doubt, then you have Saddha. And it pleases your mind. All the rubbish go away from your mind. So mind is clear, the mind is clear. This status is called saddha. So can you put all these things in one single word, such as faith? I don't think so. Sometimes it is not the most suitable word or the translation of the term saddha. So you have to find your own word. When one has saddha, then he thinks he gets the idea to visit the temple. So today, with the problem of the virus, you can't go to the temple. That is why you are taking part of the SEAL program even online. It is completely okay. With thanking the current technology, we can even meet Sangha, the monks, online. And we can ask our own problems online. We can get the answers online, the advices online. That is how it has to go, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. However, when one gets saddha, he goes to the temple. He sees the monks. He pays homage and he worships. Then he discusses with the monks, he or she, and asks the questions and get the answers, get the points clear. They discuss about their own path, their own experiences, and they get good answers. That is what one does when one has saddha. And there is an example given for saddha. It is just like the hand. We can use our own hand to take something, to catch something, to hold something. So saddha is also a good organ or a good faculty that we can catch kusala, the wholesome things, wholesome deeds, wholesome words and wholesome thoughts. So in order to catch kusala, wholesome things, meritorious things, we need to have saddha. So with this hand you can hold good things. So one tends to go to the temple, observe precepts, worship, make offerings, meditate, only when one has saddha. Therefore it is compulsory in the path. It is essential. You must have saddha. So there are many things to speak about saddha, but I also need to consider about the time. Saddha is twofold. It is explained in the commentaries. Sampasadana lakkhana saddha, sampakhandhana lakkhana saddha. Sampasadana means it clears up your own vision. It is just like when we have a glass of water with muddy water, a glass with muddy water, then we can let it for about half an hour or 1 hour. After that we can see the mud has gone down and the water is clear. The duty of Saddha is also the same. There are so many thoughts that pollute our minds. There are so many bad thoughts. Greed, anger, illusion, and so on. There are so many things. So these all thoughts are mixed up in the mind. We need to have saddha, we need to have a pleasant state of the mind in order to let these bad thoughts go away, or to calm down. Then we can see the things clearly. So then you can have enough space in your mind for good things. Otherwise you don't have space in your minds. So can you meditate when your mind is polluted? Can you practice morality when your mind is polluted? Can you do any kind of good things when your mind is polluted? Very difficult. Very difficult. So you must have a clear, pleasant state of the mind. Sometimes this is something different that you have previously learned about saddha. You might have learned something else as an explanation for saddha. That is why I told you always go to the original teaching of the Buddha, not to what this person or that person interprets, explains. So we have to always compare with the original teaching. What we hear, what we listen, what we read from outside. So the second aspect of saddha is called sampakhandhana lakkhana saddha, which helps you cut down the defilements. In order to cut down the defilements, you can use your own saddha. How can we do this? We have to have a great effort. We have to have a proper knowledge in the path. We have to trust the Buddha that he has enlightened. He's an enlightened being. We have to trust it. We have to trust the teaching of the Buddha that it is possible to cut down the defilements when we go on the path. So the path is true, the path is the direct path. It doesn't lead us to go to the hell, it doesn't lead us to go to a bad realm. It leads us to go to Nibbana, the cessation of the suffering. So we have to trust the teaching. In order to trust, we have to know what is the teaching of the Buddha. Otherwise we can't do it. And finally, about the noble disciples. There were disciples who has cut down all the defilements, who were the saints or arhat, they have practiced the teaching of the Buddha, they have attained the sainthood, they have attained arhathood, they have finished the long journey of samsara. So we have to know this, we have to trust this. Then only our mind will be clear. Then only we will have the clear thoughts. Then only we can go on the path. So that is how it is. So this is called saddha. So it is twofold, or its duty is twofold. Firstly, it clears the mind from bad thoughts. Secondly, it lets us cut down the defilements. In other words, it helps us to gain wisdom. You might have not heard previously that saddha leads us get wisdom, but it is so. So this is the first faculty that all the disciples must have if they try to go in the path. And the second one, sila, morality. Sila. As a layman, you may need to practice firstly the 5 precepts. Not killing, not stealing, not sexually misconducting, not lying, and not taking alcoholic intoxications. So these are the 5 precepts. So firstly we must have these 5 precepts. In special days like full moon day, we can observe 8 precepts or 10 precepts, and then we can practice them. This morality leads us taming the body and the mind. So we need to tame our own body and the mind. Otherwise we can't tame the mind. It is very difficult to tame the mind. In order to tame the mind, firstly we must have a certain kind of physical and verbal taming. Otherwise it is difficult to tame the mind. So the sila, even when we consider the good results of the sila, it brings us very good fruits. Buddha has once explained, when one practices uposatha sila, or the morality or the high precepts that we observe in full moon days or the other auspicious days. There are 4 auspicious days for a Buddhist in a month. So when one practices these high precepts, then if one does this regularly, then if he or she wishes to be born in Chatum Maharajika heaven after the death, he or she can do it. If one wishes to be born in Tavatinsa, Yama, Tusita, Nimanarati, Paranimita, in one of these good realms, heavens, he or she can be born there. So the results of meritorious activities are explained as one can be born in the heaven generally. So it is explained in other places generally. So the special places are not mentioned. You can be born in Tosita heaven, you can be born in Tavatingsa heaven as a result of this certain special meritorious activity. But in this case, I haven't found any other place like this where Buddha has explained specially you can choose your own realm after the death. Such a thing, such a nice thing, such a special thing, I have never seen. So this result could only be achieved by practicing high precepts, uposatha sila. Therefore, it has such a significance. Practicing the high precepts. So we need to do it time to time. We need to do it. Sila. With sila, you can go on the path faster than when you don't have morality. Because now you are very suitable to go on the path if you have morality. So there are many situations in our lives that it is very difficult to stay without lying, without sometimes taking what is not given. For example, when you walk on the street, you see, for example, apple tree or orange tree or whatever, and then the fruits are very nice. Sometimes you like very much apples or oranges, then the thoughts come to your mind. How it is if I can pluck one of the fruits, not many. In Sinhalese it is called Vediya Kadana Naraka Lamai Himanoveyapi. So you only need to pluck one fruit, one apple. But the thing is it correct? Is it according to my morality? Is it according to Panchasila that I take what is not given? So we have to consider this thing. And if we talk about what people speak, what people talk, if you have a telephone call with your best friend or with your neighbor, the things that you discuss with him or her, is it free from lying? Is it free from other bad words? Is it not something that belongs to gossip? Sometimes not. So the speech, in order to become the speech a real proper speech or a wholesome speech, it needs to be free from musavada, visunavacha, parusavacha, sampappalapa, these four kinds of wrong speeches, wrong words. It has to be free from these things, and it has to be truth. The truth has to be spoken in the proper time, with the proper person, about a proper matter, on a proper matter. Otherwise, even when it is the truth, it is not suitable to be spoken. For example, with the truth that you speak, if any harm happens to the second party or the third party, or a third party, then this truth has not to be spoken, even when it is the truth. You can argue, I have spoken only the truth. No, even the truth has to be spoken in the right place. Otherwise, it doesn't belong to Samma Vacha. That is how it is. So the morality, especially, it is something difficult when you go to a party to be away from alcoholic drinks. Even not to take a beer, a wine, a champagne. Sometimes it would be difficult to someone. In order to make a close friendship, you might have to take a glass. But is it according to the teaching of the Buddha? Has Buddha ever said taking a small limit of alcohol is permitted? Some people say, Sura mere majjapama, madapamanata. No, it is not the proper explanation. Majjapamada means if it leads to be what we call not to work in the proper time. For example, you are drunk and you can't think in the correct way, you can't drive your own vehicle, you can't do your things in the correct time. It is called majja and pamada. Intoxicated, you are drunk. You are drunk and it is intoxicated, then you can't do your things properly. You can't meditate, you can't learn the Dhamma, you can't concentrate, you can't see the things properly, you can't hear the things properly. So alcohol leads to these kinds of things, bad things. Therefore, be away from it. Even when you take a little amount, then you break the precept. Please don't think that this up to this amount I don't break the precept, Sura mere. No, it is not like this. So the morality. And the third one, virya indriya, the effort. We need to have the effort to avoid the bad, to develop the good things, to repeat the good things. One is away from doing the bad things that he or she has done previously. So the effort is fourfold. Firstly, not to repeat the bad things, to avoid the bad things, to repeat the good things, to do the good things that have never done, that have never been done. So we have to have this fourfold effort. For example, when you meditate, you must have a great effort. You need to fight with your own defilements in order to meditate. Can you sit in one place and can you stay 10 minutes in meditation if you don't have a good effort? You can't. And even to listen to the Dhamma, you must have a great effort. So virya, it is very important. Buddha himself had the greatest effort in the mankind. So the effort that he has had would never be had from any other human being. when he has practiced, or when he practiced fasting, how much effort he had. When he has sat down in the day before his enlightenment with the commitment, thinking, may my blood and flesh dry up, may only my skin and bones stay or keep there. I will never stand up from this position, from this seat, without being enlightened. How a great effort he had. So we must take our own master as the example for our lives. When we meditate, we also need to think, without getting a proper improvement, I will not stand from this posture. So we must have to have the effort like this. And especially when the situation comes for us to break a precept, then we must have to the effort of protecting it. When the situation comes for us to get angry, or when we have other kind of bad thoughts in our minds, we must have the effort to clear it up, to put it aside. Otherwise, all the lazy people will be getting bad results of the bad activities, bad words and the bad thoughts that they do. Bad karmas. Because they do not have the effort of fighting with the defilements. So we must need to fight with Mara, the evil one, with all defilements. That is how it is. And the fourth faculty, Sati Indriya, the faculty of mindfulness. How can we achieve mindfulness? Only through meditation. But it may not be the meditation that we speak in the society. Buddha has explained, when one practices satipatthana, he has the mindfulness. Satipatthana, the four establishments of the mindfulness. Kaya-anupassana, contemplation on the body. Vedana-anupassana, contemplation of the feelings. Citta-anupassana, contemplation of the mind or the thoughts. Dhamma-anupassana, contemplation on Dhamma or the selected teachings of the Buddha. Satipatthana. Through Satipatthana one can be mindful. For example, just be where you are. Just be in the place where you are. For example, when we are sitting down, when we are standing, when we are walking, when we are speaking, we must have to be in the place. We must have to the mindfulness that we are here now and we are doing this thing. Be mindful always. Be awakened always. Sati, and then samadhi. The sati, the mindfulness, leads to the concentration. Samadhi Samadhi is called the four jhanas. The four jhanas. So it is the result of the mindfulness, the concentration. So the samadhi is also very important in order to go on the path and in order to achieve the wisdom. I think the time is up, so I have to wind up. Today we have spoken about the true masters and the false masters, and the true things that we learn and the false things that we learn. So as the layman, how you can choose the proper path, choose the correct path. I have recommended you to read the direct discourses of the Buddha and compare what you learn without the direct discourses. And I have invited you to learn Pali, the language of the Buddha. Then you can learn the teaching of the Buddha in the very correct way. And then, as the second part of this discourse, this sermon, I have discussed with you about the 5 faculties. Saddha, faith. I explained you that it is not only the faith, but it is something more than that. Virya, effort. Sati, mindfulness. Saddha, virya, sati, mindfulness. Samadhi, concentration. And the 5th one is wisdom. We had no time to explain about wisdom. Maybe in another day we can explain about wisdom. So these are the 5 faculties that we must have when we walk on the path, when we go on the path, when we practice the Noble Eightfold Path. So I wish you success. May you attain Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanam chirang rakkhantu desanam chirang rakkhantu tvam sada.